Hello, brothers and sisters. The title of the message today is Returning to the Source of Life, number 11, Gospel which let our burdens down, number 2. The most important thing in the relationship between God and man must be on the right position. That position which was made and appointed as God needed that position absolutely. It is the most important issue between God and man. If the position is normalized, doing something good or doing something wrong, it is not a serious problem. How can people transform something 100%? Take some people, for instance, they cannot achieve the goal that the company demands, but their boss loves them. But other people achieve the goal that company demands, but their boss hates them. It is the issue of their relationship with the boss, and the more important thing is the issue of position. If they don't respect their boss and despise their boss, even though they achieve the goal that company demands, boss wouldn't give them any credit. Like the same manner between God and man, position issue is the most important thing. Adam was deviated. The fact that they tried to become like God itself is the deviation. Adam became like God himself. People can never be able to become like God. But they try to become like God. All the pain was started. This is the main reason. If people try to lead their life as normal people, nothing is easier than that. As God created people to become normal people, if you try to lead our life as normal people, there's nothing easier than that. People were created that way. Therefore, I think that the recovery of position is first priority and the most essential thing in our life. But then, who could recover their position? What is the content of the recovery of position? I think there is no clearer answer than Jesus himself. Jesus is really standing on the position of man in the accurate way. People would argue whether Jesus is God or Jesus is a man. Actually, his position is more important. But then people are more interested in the issue of whether Jesus is God or not. Whether Jesus is God or man. Since the first century church period, it was the most important issue. For a long time, until the doctrine of Trinity was made, people fought among themselves and killed so many people. Can Trinity doctrine transform people? No. Actually, nobody knows accurately what the Trinity doctrine really means. Nobody was transformed because of that doctrine. People fought and killed each other, but that's not the right thing to do. The real issue is in a different place. The real issue is that can we recover to the truthful people or not? Can we discover our truthful position or not? That is most important. In order to do that, the easiest and simplest way is to look up to Jesus himself. People would confess, "You are my Lord and Christ, you are Son of God." Jesus was nailed on the cross, and he couldn't do anything. He was limited in an extreme way on the cross. People witnessed the extreme limitation of Jesus on the cross, but they still argue, is Jesus God or man? It doesn't really make any sense whether it is correct according to the doctrine or not. I realize that Jesus is accurately on the position of man. That very man is on the right position of man. I realize understanding Jesus is much easier now. As I did not know him accurately, I had a hard time for a long, long time. I could remember clearly about God's grace and return thanks to God, but my relationship with Jesus was not very clear. I felt so stuffy. I couldn't ask questions to anybody. Everybody knew about Jesus and worshiped him as their Lord, but my relationship with him was not established. And I did not know what he had done for me. It was an agony of mine for a long time. I delivered a sermon about Jesus so much, but it was my agony that my relationship with him was not clear. It was a heavy burden to me. Come to me who are weary, come down, I will make you rest. My burden is light, my yoke is easy. I met him on the cross. He went through tribulation, but because of him, I was able to put down my burden. There is a hymn, I'm in the Lord, I don't need to worry about anything else. I approached to the cross and put down my burden. The song words are exactly the same with my own confession. I'm in the Lord, I don't need to worry about anything else. Jesus is going through extreme pain, which I must go through on the same position of man like me. Just like myself, what can I worry about? I approached to the cross and put down my burden. All my burdens were solved. He died and I was able to put down my burdens. I no longer have to carry the burden. So I thought he died for me. Before, I did not know my relationship with Jesus. So I wandered around so much. But now my problem was solved. This is the true gospel. All the problems of my life were solved. This is the true gospel. So from that time on, I repeatedly declare, Jesus could not come down from the cross. He's my gospel, and there's no other gospel which is easier than this. I continually declaring about this gospel. But there are people who are against this. Some people would say, how could it be true? How can you degrade Jesus? Other people would say, can't you say gospel using another expression? Isn't there any better expression than that? I'm at a sunken rock suddenly and unexpectedly. Well, if there is better expression, I would use it. But I can't think of any better expression than that. That's why I'm just repeating the same expression over and over and over again. There was a funeral of one brother in New York City. He used to live in San Francisco, but before he attended New York church, Flushing, New York. He had many friends in New York, so the funeral was carried out in New York church. Brother Sung-si Kim delivered the message. He might have had a hard time. He felt burdened in his heart because some people did not like this message, apparently. Maybe he felt so much burden. I also thought about delivering the same message, but using a different way of expression, free, clear, simple, and to the point. Thank you. Hallelujah. May God bless every one of you. And thank you again. Thank you. Thank you.